You can't build the life you want if your nervous system is stuck in survival. I'm Tracy Kao. Today, I'm speaking with Shannon Whalen, who's the creator of Breath in Motion, a groundbreaking method that combines with hypno-breathwork, somatic movement, and intuitive expression. Shannon, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of people are living with hidden stress that they don't recognize. And what is the first sign that someone's nervous system is actually overwhelmed, even though from the outside they look successful?
I mean, it can manifest differently in anybody, honestly, but having a hard time slowing down, struggling to even meditate for a couple minutes, or saying I'm bad at meditating, or anything that tries to get your focus or to focus inward, and there's a lot of resistance or struggle with that, is a big sign that we're probably overloading our system and that we haven't taken time to kind of unload some of the emotions or energy that we're holding on to in our bodies.
And what do you suggest when people catch that first sign? What can they do?
I obviously am going to say breathwork. I'm a big fan of that because with meditation, I mean, before doing breathwork, meditation wasn't the easiest practice for me either. After meditation, even just a couple minutes of breathwork changes the meditation practice to be able to drop in a lot deeper, get a lot more clarity and peace of mind. I think there are a lot of false ideas around meditation where people believe you're supposed to have a quiet, like blank slate mind, which isn't true. You're just supposed to observe. I've never found a deeper meditation than post breathwork. So I would say focusing on breathing, whether it's a full-blown breathwork session like the type I do where it's the conscious connected breathing, or even if it's just focusing on your breath as you let yourself melt into a meditation, that is what I call the anchor and the guide to turning inward and to really finding that more stillness within.
That's really amazing. Do you want to show us really quick about what's that like?
Yeah, let's just do a little grounding.
Okay.
So you can close your eyes and just start to relax. Feel your body on the chair beneath you. Feel your feet on the floor. Relaxing the muscles of your face and around your eyes as you start to inhale. And then slowly exhaling out. You can inhale for 4. And exhale for 8. Another deep breath in for 4. Exhaling for 8. And then just take a moment to notice any major or subtle shifts as you keep your eyes closed and let your breath return to natural rhythm. And then just gently blink your eyes open whenever you feel ready.
Wow, I feel good. I feel calm. I feel like grounded right now.
Yeah. So doubling the exhale, just like there's the sigh of relief, that will slow the heart rate down, slow the nervous system down. So that's a really good practice to do if you have trouble sleeping or just feel a little bit anxious and want to do a little shift throughout the day, even taking, I mean, what was that, 30 seconds to a minute that we took, and you already noticed the change. So I always say to people, like, take this practice with you, use it. Driving in LA can be stressful, and driving anywhere can be stressful, but I've made a practice of anywhere I park, I pause, I breathe before I get out and go, because it's like otherwise you're taking that like frantic energy or that stress if you got triggered in traffic or somebody cut you off or whatever happened. You don't need to take that into your podcast or your next meeting or whatever it is that you're doing. And it sounds so simple and so vast at the same time. And I always say, because it is so simple, but it actually can change everything, because your breath is connected to your brain waves, your heart rate, and your fascia. So it's really powerful. And I think everybody should do a couple breathing practices throughout their life or throughout their day.
I totally agree.
Change your life. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. This is such a powerful tips, and I think for our audience that's watching, and you could follow what Shannon and I just did, and 30 seconds is gonna make a change, an instant change. You could use that before you're presenting, before you're meeting, just to ground yourself and bring yourself back to a center, right?
Yeah.
And you're helping people unlock their next level through breath and movement. Can you describe the moment that someone finally starting to have that shift and see themselves more clearly for the first time?
The practice that I do is hypno breathwork, and with that we always ask for an intuitive action step at the end of a session, and that's because breath connects you to your intuition, and that's like a little golden nugget from your higher self or your future self leading you towards the path that you're working towards. And when I'm working with people and they're resisting their intuitive action steps and they make that shift from taking them even though they're taking them scared, that's where you start to notice that they're starting to embody that higher version of themselves, starting to not let the fear be the driver of the car, but feeling the fear, nurturing that part of the self, and then taking those baby steps towards that vision or that goal with consistency. And so once I start seeing people are doing that, you're like, okay, you're actually on this path, really working towards it. And there's no shame or guilt if that isn't happening. It just means that we need to look at what is at the root of what's causing you to avoid, which is totally common and normal this day and age, that we can be very avoidant of things. We all have our different coping mechanisms, but yeah.
What is hypno breath work?
So hypno breathwork combines the elements of breathwork, hypnosis, and visioning. So we use breathwork to clear energetic patterns, hypnosis to reprogram limiting beliefs, and then visioning to start to see yourself in that state, in that place, and embodying that version of you. And also seeing visions from your higher self or your future self, and being able to see inspiration or like the desires that you have and starting to manifest that into your life.
And is it guided? So for example, if someone who's interested in doing that hypno or curious about, then it's guided by you. Does it have music? How does that?
Yep, we have music that goes along with it, and there's cues, they're open-ended questions. And so to make that point of hypnosis, like a lot of people have learned that hypnosis is like you're gonna get hypnotized by watching something and then I'm gonna make you bark like a dog when I say a word, which is not real. It's not what hypnosis is. We actually all go in and out of hypnosis all day. So it's all self-hypnosis. I'm just there to guide you into that state, because when you're in that hypnotic state, that's when the change can take place, because your brain is in a more malleable state where you can access the unconscious beliefs that are going on. So there is guidance, and then there are open-ended questions just to kind of bring up that content from your subconscious mind, kind of bringing everything into the light, if you will. Allowing yourself to see memories from the past that have created this way of being, or this limiting belief or this fear that you have, and then being able to release that through breath, through sound, through movement, and then we reprogram. So the second half of the session is starting to do the visualization cues of like seeing yourself and fully embodying the most confident version or empowered version of you, for instance, if that's what we're focusing on.
Wow, that's really powerful. So to me, it sounded like through that practice, you're able to bring back, or at least that, to kind of turn inwards to find visual or memory or somewhere that deep inside of ourselves, right? And for that is to, I think the purpose behind it is how to heal, or to acknowledging what happened, right? And heal from that. And your second half sounded like how to bring that back, center, and become a better version. And regulate the nervous system from the point on. That's really...
And it's not to be regulated all the time. Like, our nervous systems are wired for safety and survival, so they're doing exactly what they were designed to do. It's just we're not living in the world that they were designed for, right?
Yeah.
So getting an email from your boss that says, hey, we need to talk, isn't being chased by a lion, but it feels like it in your system. And so being able to have that, like, say you get that email and you feel that jolt through your body, then going, oh, okay, let me breathe a little bit before I just go and react. So I think it's paramount for everybody to be doing this work, because we are evolving into into a new world, and technology has advanced faster than we have, and so we have to adapt to be able to stay in regulation as much as we can for our own health. But we also, you need to be in fight or flight at some level to get things done, because we can't lose the world we live in. We can't just be chilling and not doing anything, right? So it's not like it's bad, it's just understanding the language of your system so that you can better function and handle the challenges that life is going to throw us, right?
Yeah, totally, 100%. No, that's really, really helpful. And we're in the time where so many people feel disconnected from themselves. And what do you think that the high achievers, sometimes they're even more so, that they're disconnected from themselves?
High achievers definitely have perfectionism, and I tend to find their worth in what they produce and what they can do, and how they can continually find success if success is defined by those external factors. I think that is taught to us in school, and we are taught to override the signals and cues of our body just by being in that structure of like sit down, don't move, you have to wait to go to the bathroom, you're going to eat at a certain time, rather than listening to the rhythms and cues of your bodies. So it starts there, as well as like even in the family system of like, what is that like, what are your parents passing down and what they expect of you. So it's all of these things that then creates this archetype of who you think you're supposed to be, or who's a good person to be in the world, and how you want to have that, like, again, archetype of a human that you can be. And a lot of times that does come with overriding a lot of your system, shutting it down, because you're more focused on where you're going than how you're feeling, and being productive rather than understanding what's going on internally. So there's a lot of things, because if people are chasing worth, they're not going to find being still as a valuable thing to be doing. But when you're still, you can actually hear and take action from that place, which can actually help you create like a quantum leap, if you will, instead of like just running on the hamster wheel and burning yourself out. Because like all roads are going to lead there one way or the other. Do you want to do it from, again, that intuitive place, or do you want to do it from that just system that you're running because that's what you were taught as a kid and what you saw? So I think that's another big piece of where we are right now, of kind of peeling back those layers and, again, evolving into this new world of how we can show up differently and not just be working until we're going to fall over, because we're not here just to work and die.
Absolutely. And I think the breath work or breathing or any other forms, whether it's meditation, journaling, or anything, and that become a tool for us to find that connections within ourselves. To me, my personal experiences is about when I meditate, I feel the presence. So then, even though I have thoughts comes and goes, right? But then I will acknowledge, okay, I have those emotions, I have those thoughts, but I'll observe them, not become them. And I think meditation or breath work is really helping me to bring that awareness to that moment. So I'm not fast forwarding to the future that hasn't happened or stuck in the past. We actually are honoring the nature. I mean, all of that is part of human or how we are built, and it's just that we forgot, or maybe we never find it. I don't know.
I think it's intentional to keep people at a lower vibrational state and stuck in survival mode, so that we don't actually access what we are capable of, because we are all connected to something. We're all connected to whatever you want to call it, that presence.
Higher purpose.
There are so many infinite things that you can call it, or how you engage with it, but nobody is denying that it exists. That's the thing. But if you don't harness that connection with it and strengthen that, if that's something you desire, but I think that does guide us towards that light, or that whatever it is that we are manifesting, what we desire in our lives, personally and collectively. But I think it is by design that this has been pushed out of society, essentially. But that's why I think it's also a huge wave of there's wellness practices everywhere. It's like breath work 5 years ago wasn't as mainstream or was well known, and it's because we get to this point where we can't function anymore, and so we are also adaptable, and we're also evolving to survive. We're wired to survive.
Yes.
One of the teachers that I studied nervous system regulation with was talking about how nothing in nature strives to be meek. So, and we are nature. So we are going to strive to thrive, essentially, and that we deserve to be at our healthiest and at our best and at our most abundant. So, but if everybody did do some type of practice that brings them back to themselves and really listens and tunes into that, because again, we're all connected to it, but if you're not paying attention to the signs and signals, you can just keep going about your day, about your life, and whatever that is, again, the presence or your angels or your guides are throwing you hints left and right, and you're just I don't know what. But when you go, oh wow, look, it's been here the whole time, and if I had paid attention, things might have worked out a little bit differently. And not that there's anything wrong. There is no good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is. But I think it's more fun when you
for sure
live in that, right?
Yeah.